Good afternoon, everybody, from the Cardinal Nest at Lawndale High School. It is a crosstown rivalry, and in the mix now is the ECHS White Tigers making an appearance at Cardinals at the Lawndale High School here at Lawndale. And it will be the White Tigers coming in to face the Cardinals with a 4-6 record overall. 1-1 in the Harbor League. That's good enough for third place as we're looking at Oz Maldonado and George Wassel, the head coach for the ECH Tigers, White Tigers. And there you see the bench there, and they will be in the right field bench down to third base line. And there you see the Cardinals, and they will be in the third base bench wearing their white uniforms and the black baseball sleeves. And going old school again today, but they do have the new / old school hats. And ECHS wearing their royal blue uniforms and with their gray road pants. There you see the home plate umpire and the base umpire. On the right is Adrian Garduno, and on the bases it'll be Ray Leone. The Cardinals are 8-6 overall this season and had a terrific preseason and with a lot of promise, but the Pioneer League is a real tough league as their 0-2 record so far, good enough for 5th place, sees that. And the rules have been exchanged, the lineups have been exchanged, and we're just about ready to get underway. The Cardinals will send out Jesse Garcia. As you see George Wassel going back to the bench. Jesse Garcia is 1-2 with a 3.5 ERA. And you see the Cardinals getting ready to fly out to their positions. And the Tigers will send out Daniel Diaz, number 2. He will be the pitcher today for the White Tigers. It'll be Mario Villa at second base, followed by Miguel Villa. Will start at shortstop. Juan Salcedo will be the catcher. Cesar Lopez is the third baseman. Juan Jara is in left field. Gary Garcia is the center fielder. Julian Stern is in right, and Francisco Corrado will be the first baseman. That's the batting order that Jesse Garcia will face. So we're looking for the start of the ball game as Adrian Garduno says, "Let's get things going here, coach." And it's another picture perfect day. As you can see, the sun is bright, and this is a perfect day to get it in. It's unusual to have this game on a Monday in the holiday week. And the Cardinals and the White Tigers are getting this game in ahead of a cold winter storm that's going to be coming in on Tuesday night. There you see Jesse Garcia coming out, the right-hander with a good fastball, working on a cut fastball and a changeup. Has a terrific breaking ball as well as he warms things up. There's his catcher, it's Brian Gomez behind the plate. Brian getting the start today and doing a terrific job behind the plate. Brian Gomez wearing number 12 is a junior. Jesse Garcia just a sophomore. And we see the third baseman Carlos Banuelos getting things ready, getting his warm-up tosses going. And in the outfield, actually, let's go to the infield for the Cardinals. And we see the shortstop, Steven Rudolph. Rudolph just been playing terrific all season long at the leadoff position. There you see at second base, George Escobedo practicing the double play turn. And at first base, Brandon Camatani, one of the power hitters with that purple sleeve on his left shoulder. There you see out in the outfield, number 1, Arnold Escobedo out in right. And in left field, it's Daniel Villegas, the left-hander. Terrific pitcher himself. Flashing some signs back. So Daniel probably available to do some relief pitching today as well. In center field, Alberto Aguilar. There he is, number 22. Has a lot of range out there in center field, and you need that here in Lawndale because the wind comes blistering in from the 405 that's right behind Arnold Escobedo in right field. But right now the wind seems pretty calm, and that's good news. So in steps Daniel Diaz, who will also start off pitching. Here comes Garcia's first pitch of the ball game, and that bends in for strike one. Daniel, probably one of the better athletes on the White Tigers, pitcher and shortstop. Here comes the 0-1, and that's bounced in front of him, in front of the plate, and it's 1-1. Garcia, just a sophomore, and his record shows it, 1-2 with a 3.5 ERA. Nice curveball in for strike two to Daniel Diaz. This is Jesse's third start of the season, and his strikeout to walk ratio is where you want it. You want your strikeouts a little bit more than the walks, and this has popped up foul, so it remains 1-2. Brian Gomez getting the ball back to Garcia, who has 20 strikeouts and 16 walks on the season, and his 8th appearance. Here comes the 1-2 to Daniel Diaz. It stays up high, a breaking ball off speed pitch. So now it's 2-2 with Mario Villa on deck. 3-2 is the count. Excuse me. Swing and a miss, and down goes Diaz on a nice off-speed pitch by Garcia. So one strikeout for Jesse Garcia, now has 21 on the season, and that'll bring up Mario Villa. Just checking the stats to see who's the leader on the team with strikeouts. Alberto Aguilar has 18 strikeouts. Rafael Montiel has 17 strikeouts. So the leader on this team is Jesse Garcia, as Villa looks at strike one. Right-handed batter sends this one foul, and it's 0-2. Actually, no, that's out, as Kamatani makes a good play on that one, as that stayed inside the park, and it's a pop out to first base. So it's 2 down, and Miguel Villa will come up, as there you see Brandon, who will also spend some time catching. And time is called as Miguel Villa steps in, the shortstop. Mario is just a freshman. Miguel is just a sophomore, so a young team for ECHS. Strike one to Miguel, who's starting off at shortstop. Breeze starting to pick up now. As the sun starts to get lower, the breeze will get harder. Fastball on the inside corner, strike two. So Jesse Garcia is not messing around today. He's just going right after the hitters. On 2 to Villa, and just low and outside for ball one, as Jesse Garcia tried to get Miguel Villa to bite, but the bait wasn't good enough. Just the start of things, and strike three called, and Jesse Garcia has 2 strikeouts in the inning, and 1, 2, 3 go the White Tigers, as Jesse Garcia is looking pretty good right now, and the Lawndale Cardinals coming up against Daniel Diaz. White Tigers couldn't get anything going against Jesse Garcia, as Daniel Diaz, making his warm-up tosses to his catcher Jorge Salcedo, swung on and missed a swinging strikeout against Garcia. Mario Villa struck out looking. So Jesse Garcia starting off, and there you see Jorge Salcedo, the catcher. There's Cesar Lopez. He'll be the third baseman, wearing number 30. Shortstop number 22, Miguel Villa. He ended the inning looking at a strikeout. Over at second base is his baby brother, Mario Villa, just a freshman. And out in left field, there's Jonathan Jara, number 15. And Gary Garcia is out in center field. Julian Stern is in right. And Francisco Corrado is the first baseman. Daniel Diaz getting ready to deal the first pitch at the bottom of the first to Stephen Rudolph. And that's blown away for a ball one. Rudolph coming into today's game, batting .333. And once he gets on, he can really get things going for the Cardinals. Stephen has 16 hits and has scored 15 runs. It's 2-1 now to Rudolph. Stephen has 5 RBI. Diaz deals a breaking ball, and that stays outside. Now it's 3-1 to Rudolph. Stephen likes to hit the ball, has only walked 3 times. 3-2 now to Rudolph. And he struck out 11 times. Has an on-base percentage of .370. And he is 8 for 8 out of stolen bases and guides this ground ball into the hole between third and short, and a leadoff base hit for Rudolph and the Cardinals. Ball is walked in by Miguel Villa. So with something going now, Arnold Escobedo comes up to face Daniel Diaz. It's a nice, easy stroke, just placed it perfectly in between the third baseman and the shortstop. So Diaz knows that Rudolph is a threat to run. Again, he is 8 out of 8 in stolen bases. Arnold Escobedo, in 14 games played, has a .355 batting average. Has 9 RBIs, 2 doubles on the season. And this one goes all the way to the backstop, and Rudolph goes to second base looking for more. But the hard wooden backstop keeps the ball close. So a wild pitch for Diaz. And it's 1-0 to Arnold Escobedo. That ball dips in for a strike. It's 1-1. So Diaz being distracted by Stephen Rudolph, who is a threat to take third base. Pickoff try and just barely back under the tag. A good throw and tag from Diaz to Miguel Villa. And Rudolph had to be quick to get back. Escobedo has walked only twice, has been hit once, and has struck out 10 times. This one's popped up foul, goes behind us. So it's 1-2 now to Arnold Escobedo. Man, what a glorious day. Well, it is the season of new beginnings, the day after Easter. So we're beginning this season, the spring season, with a beautiful day. Foul back remains 1-2 to Escobedo, who's patrolling right field today. Looks down at the third base coach, Ray Rodriguez. Over at first base, Os Maldonado, doing a terrific job with the Cardinals in his first year as head coach. Strike 3 called, and down goes Arnold Escobedo on strikes. So a good breaking pitch from Diaz, and down goes Arnold Escobedo. First strike out of the game, and you saw a big sigh of relief right there from Diaz, saying, "Well, I can keep up with these guys." In steps Alberto Aguilar, lefty all the way. Swung on and missed, and that one got away from Salcedo and down to second base, or third base, I should say. Trots Rudolph. Second wild pitch on Diaz. So with 1 out, Alberto Aguilar can score Rudolph with a ground ball or a fly ball. That one's fouled off. And it's 0-2. Just the third batter in the bottom of the first inning. Alberto Aguilar getting ready. And that's outside as the White Tigers are keeping an eye on Rudolph at third. Alberto, 14 games, all 14 games, has hit .512. Has 22 hits in his 43 at bats. Fouls this one back. As you can see, he's an aggressive swinger. Remains 0-2. Has 13 RBI. Brandon Camatani leads the club with 19. Has 3 doubles, a triple, and a home run. I believe we saw Albert hit that home run against Hawthorne. Maybe that was at Lawndale. There we saw a shot of the base umpire, Ray Leone. Daniel Diaz looks over at Rudolph, and here comes the pitch to Aguilar, and that's lined the other way but foul. And Alberto knows this field. He knows that the wind can really come in. You can see the lineup card behind it, right there behind Albert in the dugout. And if you get it in the air in right field, it's probably going to hang up in the air. Way outside. So 2-2 with 1 down and 1 on. Here comes Diaz's 2-2 pitch. And that's grounded and into right field for a base hit. So an RBI single for Alberto Aguilar, and that scores Rudolph from third base, and it's 1-0 Cardinals over the White Tigers. Albert got it low in the strike zone and just pulled it in between second and third, or second first. And so he has RBI number 14. That brings up Carlos Banuelos, and that pitch gets away from Salcedo, and down to second base goes Aguilar. On another wild pitch, that's the third one this inning for Diaz. Diaz, a 6-foot sophomore. So a very young team put out there by the White Tigers. That fastball bends in for a strike. And it's 1-1. So 1 down, and a pickoff move back at second base, and back in time is Aguilar. Tag being applied by Villa. Aguilar, just 3 walks, but also striking out only 4 times. So one of the better hitters on this team. He is just a few numbers behind Brandon Camatani. Pulls this one to second base, picked up by Villa, and that gets away from Corrado, and around from third and coming home is Aguilar to make it 2-0 Cardinals on the throwing error by Mario Villa. So no RBI. There you see the ball was an easy ground ball. But getting down the line in a hurry was Carlos Banuelos. So Carlos Banuelos on safe at first, batting .457 and 7 RBIs, but doesn't get one here. So that'll bring up Brandon Camatani with 1 down. Fastball sails outside. So Brandon in the slot, the number 5 slot, where you usually put your best hitter. He can do all sorts of things for you. Mainly hit it hard, like that foul ball. So it's 1-1. Banuelos on at second base after the throwing error on Mario Villa. So 3 wild pitches and 2 errors have played a big part in this 2-0 lead by the Cardinals. And we're only in the bottom of the first. That one goes all the way to the backstop, but Banuelos stays put as that came right back to Salcedo. So it's 2-1 to Brandon. Batting .571. 42 at bats, 24 hits, 19 RBIs, 4 doubles, a home run. And I do remember that home run. That was definitely against the Olympians, as it's 2-2. Brandon, a couple of sacrifice flies, has 4 walks and only 2 strikeouts. He's also been plunked a couple of times. Brandon Camatani, the offensive weapon for Maldonado, and back safely is Banuelos for Os Maldonado and the Cardinals. So Brandon really growing into a terrific baseball player. His last year, so he wants to make some noise, and this one's stroked into left field for a base hit. It's picked up by Jara, and over to third base goes Banuelos. So that was a nice piece of hitting by Camatani, and he goes the other way. So runners at the corners with only 1 out. So he just went where it was pitched. And that's a beautiful piece of hitting, especially for you young guys, even your older guys. Don't try to pull everything. Take what the pitcher's giving you. Now Brandon may be picked off, but he gets back. He could have sacrificed himself and gotten in a rundown, and that would have caused Carlos Banuelos, or given Banuelos a reason to score, but it's just the beginning of the game with George Escobedo coming up to bat. Looks at a strike. George in his 15th game, 258 with an RBI. And that one was a generous strike on the outside corner. 8 hits and 31 at bats. Has scored 11 times and has a double. This is 1-2 now to George. Doing a terrific job at second base. Outside, 2-2. So Daniel Diaz, a lot of butterflies in his stomach, I'm sure. The albatross for Escobedo, he struck out 10 times and now make that 11 times. 2 strikeouts on the day for Daniel Diaz, and that's 2 down. And here comes the 7th man to the plate in Brian Gomez. Gomez, the catcher, bounces it slowly, picked up by Diaz, throws on the run, and a terrific throw and pick by Corrado. And that'll do it for the Cardinals. 1-3 on the putout, but what a nice play by Daniel Diaz. 2 runs in the inning, and it is 2-0 Cardinals over the Tigers. We'll go to the second inning, but before that, we'll look at this nice play by Daniel Diaz. As he gets off the mound in a hurry, barehands it, and really makes a terrific throw to end the bottom of the first inning. Back at Lawndale High School, top of the second inning. Lawndale 2 runs on 3 hits against Daniel Diaz. Jesse Garcia will face Juan Salcedo. Then Cesar Lopez and Jonathan Yara. Breaking ball, and that stays up. Juan, he's just a sophomore. Apologies to him and his mom and dad. I've been calling him Jorge. Juan looks at the 2-0, swings and misses. Has the busy duty of being the catcher for this young Diaz, this young Daniel Diaz and the White Tiger pitching staff. Jesse Garcia, ground ball down the first baseline. That's a fair ball. A nice play by Kamatani to do it himself. 3 unassisted on the putout. And that was not an easy play for Brandon Kamatani. So Jesse Garcia. And now we have the replay coming up here. Good swing going the other way, but that could have been extra bases. Kamatani doing a good job. Garcia now facing the third baseman, Cesar Lopez. Swings away and fouls it back. 0-1 to Cesar. He's just a sophomore. You know, there's only one junior, and that's Julian Stern on this team. And the Cardinals have a young squad too. This one's bounced foul. But it's good to see the White Tigers not being intimidated and just swinging away. Cesar sporting those Clark Kent glasses. Those are back in style now. Here comes Garcia's pitch. That's up and in. 1-2 now to Cesar. You know, I tried those on at the eye doctor the other day. Those frames just made me look like a potato bug. Here comes Garcia's 1-2 pitch, and that swung on and missed, and down goes Lopez on a good fastball up and in. So third strikeout for Jesse Garcia, and this brings up Jonathan Yara. Garcia not messing around, like we said. Wanted to even up his record at 2-2. But Yara will have something to say about it. So pitch inside, 1-0. Jonathan playing out in left field for the White Tigers, has the matte black helmet going for him. Nice curveball, that bends in for a strike. 1-1. Swing and a miss. And now it's 1-2 to Yara. 4-6 are the White Tigers. 1-1 in the Harbor Baseball League. Breaking ball, and that doesn't break too much. 2-2. Environmental Charter on a 2-game losing streak. They've scored 55 runs, but they've given up 66. Now it's a full count to Yara. Been very patient up there. Started off the season playing Verbum Day. Pretty respectable. And now the first base runner of the game for the White Tigers is Jonathan Yara. So 2 down for Garcia, and that'll bring up Gary Garcia, the center fielder. This one's grounded to second base and over to first to Kamatani, and out at first base is Gary Garcia. So 4-3 on the putout, and down go the White Tigers as we go to the bottom of the second inning with the Cardinals on top. Bottom of the second we go, and it will be Jesse Garcia, then Daniel Villegas, and then the top of the order, Steven Rudolph against Daniel Diaz. Jesse doing a terrific job on the mound. 3 strikeouts and a walk given up, only 1 base runner. And Diaz, his first pitch is a breaking ball to Garcia. Jesse doing a terrific job just as a sophomore. Has played in all 14 games. 1-1. So Diaz likes to throw that breaking ball. And Jesse Garcia and the baseball team 2-1 now to Garcia. Looks like they've put on an L decal on their red helmets. That's nice. There you see it, just above the left or the white brim. 3-1 now to Garcia, who comes in batting .333, has 8 hits, just 1 RBI on the year, and that one's just outside. First walk given up by Diaz, but he needs to concentrate on his control. That'll bring up Daniel Villegas. Speaking about control, this young man certainly has that when he's on the mound. So let's see what Garcia will do on the base paths. Wonder if he'll be running, being the pitcher of record. Villegas swings and hits it towards the second baseman, and that one is into center field for a base hit. So first pitch swinging, and Villegas is on base. And now the first 2 runners are on, nobody out for the top of the order, and Steven Rudolph. For Villegas, was only batting .222, but that is his 5th hit of the year. So Diaz trying to keep him close, almost had Garcia. Rudolph is 1 for 1. Had a base hit to left field and scored on the RBI single by Aguilar. Swing and a miss at that looping curveball. So Diaz isn't going to overpower you, but you just have to watch out for which way that ball is moving and try to hit it. And Diaz needs to just concentrate a little more on playing catch with Salcedo. 1-1. 3 wild pitches. Mr. Diaz is going to have to improve on that. Ground ball to shortstop, on to second for 1, and that's all they're going to get as Rudolph runs through the bag at first base. So on the fielder's choice, Rudolph is safe at first, and Garcia moves down to third base, and out 6-4 is Daniel Villegas. And there you see the replay, the nice pickup as Garcia tried to distract Miguel Villa, and nice put out there by Mario Villa. That throw was a little bit wide. That'll bring up Arnold Escobedo. Arnold 0 for 1, struck out looking in the bottom of the first. Looks to strike one. So the White Tigers should be playing at double play depth with 1 out in the bottom of the second. Actually, that was the runner was safe. The runner was pulled off the bag, and now everybody's safe on this one on the ground ball up the middle. And scoring from third base is Jesse Garcia to make it 3-0. On to second base is Rudolph. And on this hard ground ball to shortstop. And that just bounces off of Miguel Villa as Alberto Aguilar steps in and looks at ball 1. So I have to give an error to Miguel Villa. That's the second error of the game on the White Tigers. And now it's 3-0 Cardinals. Line drive, and that's into center field, and that falls in for a base hit in front of Gary Garcia. Coming in to score is Daniel Villegas. And that makes it 4-0 in favor of the Cardinals over the White Tigers. So a nice stroke again by Aguilar. Boy, he's got a nice sweet swing. So that's an RBI for Albert, and that's number 14, and another base hit by Carlos Banuelos. Bringing the ball in is Miguel Villa. And over at third base is Arnold Escobedo. So bases remain loaded as it's 5-0 in favor of the Cardinals. In steps Kamatani, who can really make you pay for it. Looks at strike 1. So Diaz really has some work to do now. Over at second base is Alberto Aguilar. At first, Banuelos, and this one's fouled at the plate, 0-2. So nobody out. Had mistakenly said that there was a fielder's choice on Villegas, but he eventually came around to score the 4th run. Rudolph came in on the RBI single by Aguilar. He has 14 RBI in the season now. And now Brandon Kamatani looking at an 0-2 pitch from Diaz after opening with a single in the first inning. Fouls this one off. Picked up by Oz Maldonado. Boy, he's a big man on campus. Everybody loves Oz. A math teacher here on campus, also the head baseball coach. Doing a good job. Inside with a fastball by Diaz, so it's 1-2 to Brandon Kamatani. Leads the Cardinals in RBI with 19, has 4 possible RBI sitting out there right now, including himself. Bases loaded with nobody out, and time is called by Kamatani. One-two pitch, and that was more of a self-defense swing. That was inside, right around the knees. Good look at Brandon. Looks like he's been hitting the weight room. Leading off at first is Escobar, a ground ball, and that's foul down the first baseline. So it remains 0-2 with Kamatani hanging in tough. Daniel Diaz is too. Just trying to get his first out. Hopefully get a ground ball double play grounder out of Camatani, but these Cardinals are quick. They're tough to double up. Escobedo over at third base gets his lead. Inside, just inside. So now it's 2-2, and Camatani really hanging in tough. This is the 8th pitch to Brandon from Daniel Diaz. Inside, ball 3. So good eye by Brandon Camatani. And a good battle in the bottom of the second inning between Brandon and Daniel Diaz. Swing and a miss. And down goes Brandon Camatani. Boy, what a terrific at bat. And a terrific battle between a couple of really good players. So 3 strikeouts make that on the day for Diaz. And that's the first out of the inning. So here comes George Escobedo. His brother Arnold at third base. First pitch is low. George struck out looking back in the first inning. Curveball, and that bends in for a strike. 1-1. A little bit of a late call by home plate umpire Adrian Garduno, but he took his time and made that call. 1-1's the count to Escobedo. Bases filled up with Cardinals. And now Arnold Escobedo is stuck in a rundown and gets back. Well, Arnold ran into third baseman Cesar Lopez, and not a whole lot of meat on Arnold's bones as you see him coming down, and there may have been a botched play, a suicide play, a squeeze play. There you see Cesar keeping the ball in front of him, and a good job to do that, because Arnold would have turned right around and scored. So George gets another chance. Swings and misses, and down goes Escobedo on strikes. That's 4 strikeouts now for Daniel Diaz. 2 in a row, and that's the way to do it, especially with the bases loaded. Just say, okay, fellas, I'm just going to let him swing at my best stuff. And that'll bring up Brian Gomez, the catcher, who bounced out to Diaz to end the first inning in a terrific barehanded play, and Salcedo gets a good bounce off of that hard wooden backstop. It's 1-0 to Gomez. But a leadoff walk and a base hit to center field and a fielder's choice, and couldn't get the out at second base, and an error have cost the White Tigers in this inning for 3 runs. Time is called by Brian Gomez. Brian is a junior. Comes in batting .346. Did he go around? Yes, he did. So Gomez is the 9th batter to come to plate. 7 batters in the first inning. And Daniel Diaz just wants to record this final out. Beautiful pitch. Now it's 1-2. Looked like Brian was taken all the way. Now the count is all Diaz's way at 1-2. With the bases loaded, there's Arnold Escobedo taking his lead at second. Or first base, third base. But it doesn't matter now because Daniel Diaz, with a terrific job, after the bases were loaded, 3 runs in, strikes out the side. We're going to the top of the 3rd inning, but Lawndale leads it 5-0. But what a performance by Diaz. Getting back to things here, starting off the top of the 3rd inning. And I do believe we're going to have some changes. So Maldonado making some changes out there, and we'll try to get those to you as the game goes on. Looks like Brandon Camatani is now behind the plate. And the first pitch to Julian Stern, the old man on this team. He's a junior. Looks at strike one. Jesse Garcia's still out on the mound. It's 1-1 to him, but Jesse doing a terrific job. Has only pitched 29 pitches in the top of the third inning. Swing and a miss to Stern. It's 1-2. Meanwhile, Daniel Diaz, who got out of a bases loaded jam even though he gave up 3 runs, has pitched 65 pitches. And strike 3 called. And down goes Stern. That's the 4th strikeout for Jesse Garcia. That's number 24 on the year. That'll bring up Francisco Corrado, the first baseman for the White Tigers. Looking to bunt things and bunts it foul off the screen. Frankie, another youngster, just a sophomore. Looks like he's barely filling out his uniform. So it's 0-1. And the next pitch is a ball. So it's 1-1 to Corrado. The White Tigers in the Harbor Baseball League. 1-1 in league, good enough for 3rd place. And that's on the inside corner. And Corrado says, "Up, that was a tough pitch." 1-2, Garcia deals and swung on and missed, and a terrific pitch by Jesse Garcia to get strikeout number 5. So even up in strikeouts for each team, and 2 down, and that brings up the top of the order and Daniel Diaz. Pitch is in the dirt. 1-0. Diaz took Garcia to a 3-2 count and finally swung and missed to strike out. Fastball, and that gets through the wickets of Camatani. So it's 2-0. Sophomore against sophomore. Top of the 3rd inning, Lawndale in control. A little bit outside. Now it's 3-0. Garcia not taking a whole lot of time between pitches and bounces this one in front of Camatani. And down to first base goes Diaz. Alberto Aguilar now over at first base. So second walk given up by Garcia. With 2 down, that brings up Mario Villa, the first of the Villa brothers, and sends this one into left field and deep, and this one gets over the head of the left fielder, and that out in left field is Daniel Villegas coming around to score to home plate, and the throw, a beautiful throw to Camatani out at home plate, is Daniel Diaz on a beautiful play, 7-3 on the putout. My goodness. And Daniel Diaz normally would have scored on this one, but the Cardinals putting on a clinic there, as that was a nice double by Mario Villa. And there's the throw to the shortstop, and a strike to Kamatani. Perfectly thrown, beautiful block. You are out. And that was the third out of the inning on the double by Mario Villa. But that's going to do it in this half of the inning. To the bottom of the third we go. What a play by the Cardinals. Bottom of the third inning, and it is the Cardinals. It'll be Jesse Garcia, Daniel Villegas, who started that terrific 7-6-2 play to end the top of the third. And looks at ball one from Daniel Diaz. Actually, we got to change a pitcher now. That's Miguel Villa. So now it's 1-1 to Jesse Garcia. Bottom of the third, so Daniel Diaz goes 2 innings, gives up 5 runs on 6 hits, struck out 5 and walked 1, had 3 wild pitches. Here comes the 1-2 to Garcia, and fastballs. That's the diet of the day for Miguel Villa, and he strikes out Jesse Garcia and has his own strikeout, 6 overall. But the defense behind Daniel Diaz and the wild pitches really spelled doom. Daniel Villegas looks at strike 1. So Miguel Villa, just a youngster himself, a sophomore. But boy, can he throw some heat. One and one as he takes a little bit off there. Cardinals just looking to roll. Fastball up high, 2-1. Still buzzing about the way that the top of the third inning ended. Daniel Villegas was chased down a double by Mario Villa, Miguel's brother. This is 3-1 now to Danny. Villegas then threw it to shortstop. Swings and misses. It's 3-2 on that off-speed pitch. That was a nice one. And then shortstop threw a strike to Brandon Kamatani. And that nailed Diaz at the plate. This one's up and in. A 1-out walk for Villegas. Being held on by Francisco Corrado. And Stephen Rudolph being replaced by Gary Guillen in the top of the order. Stephen going 1 for 2. Strike 1 to Gary Guillen. So Gary will go play second base. George Escobedo was the shortstop on the play. So Gary coming in the ball game. Batting just 200 and wants to talk to, or actually Ray Rodriguez wants to talk to him as Miguel Villa talks to Juan Salcedo. Gary has just 1 hit in 5 at-bats, but also has an RBI. Over at first base, Danny Villegas. Fastball, and that stays up. So it's 2-1 now to Gary Guillen. And a strike right down the middle. That one gets away from Salcedo, and by the time he gets it back and throws it down, Danny Villegas is over at second base on the wild pitch by Villa. That one just skipped by one and got the good bounce from the backstop, but Villegas too quick. And strike 3, and down goes Gary Guillen. Second strikeout for Villa, 2 down, and that'll bring up Arnold Escobedo's spot. And that'll be Brian Estrada. Off-speed pitch, and that's up high. Arnold was 0 for 2, struck out looking, and then was on an error back in the second inning. And he'll take over in right field for Escobedo. 1-1 now to Brian Estrada. Brian swings and misses. It's 1-2. Brian in his senior year getting some playing time with a 5-1 lead in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Down low, it's now 2-2. Just his 5th game for Estrada. Swings and misses at that one. And Miguel Villa, comes in and strikes out the side and strands a runner. And that's good news for the White Tigers as we go to the top of the 4th with the Cardinals on top. Top of the 4th inning we go, and it will be Miguel Villa. Wouldn't you know it, the guy who saves the day for the White Tigers is the first guy up. He looks at strike 1 from Jesse Garcia. Still in there in his 4th inning of work. And again, just getting the ball and playing pitch and catch with his catcher, Brandon Camatani. Has a 5-0 lead to work with, has 5 strikeouts. Daniel Diaz went 2 innings. Gave up 5 runs on 6 hits, struck out 5, walked 1, and had 3 wild pitches. And this one's grounded foul to Villa. And he'll go back and do it again. Good-looking player. Started out at shortstop, came into the mound, and was obviously pretty warm and struck out the side. But did give up a walk to Daniel Villegas and had a wild pitch himself. This one stays up 2-1, but for Miguel Villa, only 4 batters faced in the 3rd inning after 65 pitches by Daniel Diaz in the first 2 innings. Now it's 3-2 to Miguel, who struck out looking to end the 1st inning. Juan Salcedo on deck, followed by Cesar Lopez, and goes down looking. Strike 3 called. 6 strikeouts for Jesse Garcia, and another impressive outing. That's the 26th strikeout of the year for Jesse Garcia. Salcedo Looks at strike one on the outside corner. A nice fastball on the outside corner. 0-1. Garcia grounded out to first base, and a good play by Brandon Camatani when he started out there. First base is behind the plate now. And now takes one off with a chest protector, and they probably got a bite of his right bicep. Now it's 1-1. Don Sterrett is the coach at third base, the assistant coach for the White Tigers. That one is low and outside. Now 2-1. So time is called. Garcia back in. Nice curveball. Oh man. Juan says, "Are you kidding me? Where'd you pull that one out of?" "Out of my glove," says Jesse. It's 2-2 now after that beauty. That set up the off-speed pitch, but that stays up. So Jesse Garcia for Os Maldonado's Cardinals is just a sophomore. And oh my goodness, what a pitch by Jesse Garcia. Strike three called, and Juan Salcedo walks back to the dugout just shaking his head. That's all he can do with that one. Took something a little bit off of that one. That chewed off the outside corner for 2 down. So Garcia is getting a major opportunity as a sophomore to pitch at the varsity level. So he has nothing but a bright future ahead of him. But the future is now against the White Tigers of Environmental Charter. Cesar Lopez struck out swinging back in the second inning. Swings and misses as that fastball was in on the hands and tied him up. So it's 1-1 with 2 down in the top of the fourth. Cardinals up by 5. That's 1-2. Jonathan Yara on deck. One of only 3 base runners by the White Tigers today. Lopez doing a good job at the hot corner for the White Tigers. And smacks this one into right field, and that's going to get down for a base hit. So Cesar Lopez on at first base with a base hit, only the second hit by the White Tigers. And Cesar's going to be taken out for a pinch runner. As again, he just went the other way, didn't want to pull that fastball. He just sent it into right field. Good job by Cesar. Base runner for Caesars. I'm sure he will come back to play third base, and that's Alex Morrow, the pinch runner. Yara looks at a ball down. Well, Garcia hasn't had much of an opportunity to work on his pickoff move, so let's see what he does here with the speedy appearing Morrow. Takes a decent lead. And yeah, Garcia is distracted. As you can see, he's got that 2-0 count now on Yara, but still has 5 runs to play with, so he can work on that move. Breaking ball, and that's in for a strike. That might have been the off-speed pitch. Pinch runner Alexis Morrow, a 5'6" sophomore. Yara walked, and this one gets through Camatani, and down to second base goes Morrow. With that throw is a little bit late. So that's a wild pitch. So Garcia has something to work on. That distraction out there, a little too much for him. And that one gets underneath Kamatani as well, and the throw down to third base. And that's too late, just too late. A good throw. And playing at second base now, or third base, I should say, is Zach Tiedemann. So a runner in scoring position after the wild pitch. And you see the ball getting by Kamatani. So runners at the corners with two down. Two wild pitches all of a sudden, and that's what'll happen with a young pitcher out on the mound. You see that throw down to third base was real close. A good tag swipe at the base runner by Tiedemann. And this one is low again. And staying at third base is Morrow, but going down to second base is Yara. Third wild pitch in two batters for Jesse Garcia. Now we're going to get a trip to the mound. Jesse kind of laughing it off, but now here comes Coach. Wipe that smile off his face real quick. Says there's no reason to be distracted. Don't worry about the runners. And then Carlos Banuelos, now playing shortstop, says the same thing. So Osmald Donato has the respect of these players, has his piece with Jesse Garcia. And let's see if the message has been delivered with Gary Garcia up for the White Tigers. And it appears the message has been delivered. That was a fastball just outside. Gary bounced out to second base and is only a bat in the second inning. Swing and a miss, and that fastball tied him up. 0-2. Julian Stern would be next. 2-1, I should say. Now it's 2-2. So a runner, two runners in scoring position for the White Tigers, and Gary Garcia down 5-2. We put him right back in this ball game, but a swing and a miss, and down goes Garcia and the White Tigers, and that is strikeout number 28 as he strikes out the side once again, as the White Tigers can't get anything done against Jesse Garcia, who comes back and slams the door on the White Tigers as we go to the bottom of the fourth. Brandon Kamatani coming up. In the bottom of the third inning is Miguel Villa in the bottom of the fourth inning. And Brandon looks at a ball. 5-0 is the score. Jesse Garcia for the Cardinals, and a nice pitch by Villa. Makes it 1-1. That's just outside. He tried to hit that same spot. 2-1. So Brandon started out at first base, now as a catcher, and looks at strike two as Miguel Villa has that fastball tailing away from the left-handers. And check that. That's Alberto Aguilar. What am I saying? 2-2 to Albert. Swings and misses, and down goes Albert. One of the best hitters on the team swings through a nice fastball by Miguel Villa, just a sophomore. And Jonathan Yara giving him some kudos out there. So Carlos Banuelos comes up was out on an error back in the first inning and had an infield hit back in the second. Carlos now playing shortstop. And Brandon Camatani is on deck. So it's now 2-0 to Carlos, as Miguel Villa trying to bite off the outside corner with that fastball tailing away. And this one comes inside, and Banuelos is all over it, but fouls it off. Carlos came into the game batting .457 with 18 hits and 7 RBI and 3 triples. No doubles, no home runs, but 3 triples. Fouls this one off. He has that nice sweet swing too. So 3 triples leads the club. That's a lot of triples for high school. But boy, they are fun to watch. 2-2 now. Miguel Villa has been fun to watch on the mound for the White Tigers. In relief for Daniel Diaz. And that one almost hit him. So now it's 3-2 to Carlos. Carlos is a senior. And whacks this one on the ground, picked up by the first baseman, but Villa couldn't get there in time to cover the bag as Francisco Corrado went way far to his right, probably too far. Should have let his second baseman Mario Villa handle that one. But Corrado showing his range on that one. But you can see he cut off Mario Villa. So we're going to call that an infield hit for Carlos. Second one of the day. And a strike into Brandon Camatani. So that's the first hit given up by Villa. And Carlos Banuelos, see how many stolen bases he has. Carlos, no wonder they're keeping an eye on him. He is 10 out of 10 on the year. Salcedo setting up outside, the throw down, and no way. Carlos has his 11th stolen base. So now it's a timeout on the field as Carlos Banuelos doing some landscape out there at second base. So one down in the bottom of the fourth. Brandon Camatani, as now Banuelos takes off, and this is hit the other way into left field for a base hit, and cruising home is Banuelos, and it's 6-0. And over at second base, Camatani getting a little greedy. He's tagged out, trying to extend that into a double, but still is credited with the RBI. And I don't think that's what the coaches wanted Brandon to do. Probably wanted him to stay at second base. So the White Tigers doing a good job of cutting down Brandon Camatani. .76 on the putout, as this one's fouled back by George Escobedo. So it's 6-0 in favor of the Cardinals on the RBI single by Brandon Camatani. Off-speed pitch is away. George is struck out twice, once looking, once swinging. And this is not George. This is Rafael Montiel. So George Escobedo now, or excuse me, Rafael Montiel swings and misses, and he strikes out. And that will end the inning. So a good job by the White Tigers again, and Miguel Villa gives up 1 run on 2 hits, and they don't leave anybody as we go to the top of the 5th inning with the Cardinals on top. Top of the 5th inning we go. The White Tigers will send up Julian Stern, Francisco Corrado, and Daniel Diaz. And pitch is swung on and missed by Julian. Jesse Garcia back out for his 5th inning of work. Has a 6-0 lead. So Julian trying to crack that goose egg using a wooden bat, and bounces out to Garcia. 1-3 on the putout. So Stern is 0 for 2. That'll bring up Corrado. Do you see that? That distinctive sound of wood that's missing from this level of baseball. And now a bunt try by Corrado, but that's fouled off. Frankie playing first base, struck out swinging back in the 3rd inning. Garcia struck out the side back in the 4th inning, but got into a little bit of a jam. Was distracted by Cesar Lopez's pinch runner, Alexis Muro. He got all the way to 3rd base. 0-2 now to Corrado. Yara then walked and was wild pitched to 2nd base. 3 wild pitches in the inning by Garcia. Very uncharacteristic, as this one is curveball. Corrado was jackknifing out of the way. Actually was ducking for cover. Waves at and misses that one, and that is strike 3. So strikeout number 9 for Jesse Garcia. So that's 29 on the year, and that brings up the top of the order and Daniel Diaz, who's now playing shortstop. Looks at a fastball on the outside corner for strike 1. That's been the bread and butter pitch for Jesse today to right-handed hitters from the White Tigers. In the dirt down low, 1-1. Daniel struck out in the 1st inning, then walked in the 3rd, and was on base when Mario Villa hit a long double to left field. This one's up high. 2-1. And was cut down to the plate on a good play. 7-6-2. Had to be a perfect relay from left field to shortstop to catcher. This one's popped up down the right field line and in foul territory. That's put away by Albert Aguilar. So 1-2-3 go the White Tigers in the top of the 5th inning. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th with Lawndale in control. Bottom of the 5th inning we go, and for the Cardinals it'll be Zach Tiedemann, Jesse Garcia, and Danny Villegas. Zach is a senior, and this is his 9th game. With a big 6-0 lead, gets a chance to play. Maldonado getting the guys in a non-league game. And Tiedemann getting his hacks in. Good to see Zach in there. Has a .385 average, 5 hits in his 13 at bats. Has yet to get an extra base hit or an RBI. Has a tough customer to deal with in Miguel Villa. In his 3rd inning of work, has given up a run on 2 hits and has struck out 5. Also walked 1 and 1 wild pitch. So it's 2-1 to Zach. Good off-speed pitch, and that settles in for a strike. So it's 2-2 to Tiedemann, with Garcia on deck. Villa with the 2-2, and that's outside. Six runs on 8 hits for the Cardinals. No runs on 2 hits for the White Tigers, and Tiedemann swings and misses, and down he goes. 6 strikeouts for Villa, and that's 11 overall for White Tiger pitching. You see the big swing and a miss. So Villa coming on strong after Daniel Diaz did a decent job, but errors and wild pitches foiled his day. Jesse Garcia steps in, swings and misses. Here comes the 0-1. Stays away from that one. Jesse walked and scored in the 3-run 2nd inning and struck out looking to lead off the 3rd. On the outside corner for a strike. So Miguel Villa telling Jesse, says, I can do that too. Here comes the 1-2. That's fouled, popped up on the infield. That's a shortstop coming in for it, and he puts it away. And that's Jonathan Yara at shortstop now. So Garcia fooled on that pitch, pops it up. That'll bring up Daniel Villegas. And with that wind blowing out there, that's not an easy play. So you can tell that the breeze is not blowing too hard out there. Beautiful day. And another pop up, and that goes right into the glove of Mario Villa. And that'll do it for the Cardinals. They go down 1-2-3. And we go to the top of the 6th inning with Lawndale up 6-0 over ECHS. Top of the 6th we go. It will be Mario Villa, then Miguel Villa, and Juan Salcedo. And we have a new pitcher on the mound. And even though the breeze isn't blowing hard, it is chilly outside. Wrapped up in their own Cardinals nest. Good to see the fans out. There they are. Must have had a good Easter Sunday. Glad to have you along with us on Channel 22 Sports. As Mario Villa steps in and grounds the first pitch from Montiel. And safe at first base is Villa. He beat that one out. So Mario Villa on at first base. So Rafael Montiel, you see the ground ball picked up by Gary Guillen. So one pitch and one hit for the Tigers, White Tigers. That brings up Miguel Villa, who has struck out looking both times. I'm sure he'd want to make up for that. Fouls this one back. So Rafael Montiel coming in relief of Jesse Garcia, who went 5 innings, gave up no runs on 2 hits and struck out 9, walked 2, had 3 wild pitches. Rafael Montiel is 3-0. This is his 8th appearance. So Rafael coming on in relief as he usually does. Strike on the outside corner. Well, they love to paint that outside corner. Rafael, a senior on this Cardinal team, looks at the base runner. And that's on the outside corner, strike 3, and down goes Miguel Villa on looking on strikes for the 3rd time. First strikeout for Rafael. And for Montiel, he has 29 strikeouts. Now 30 strikeouts. That's 1 ahead of his buddy Jesse Garcia now. Juan Salcedo settles in. He's 0 for 2. Nice lead over there at first base by Villa. And a ball to Salcedo. Looks down at Don Sterrett, the third base coach. Montiel looking over at first base at Mario Villa. Swing and a miss on a fastball up and in. Boy, that comes in like a beach ball. You want to just smack that one as far as you can. But it's 2-1 to Salcedo, who's 0 for 2. Thought he had a base hit back in the 2nd inning, but Brandon Camatani made a good play on the ground ball. On the outside corner, strike 2. And then Juan battled Jesse Garcia to a 3-2 count, but a nasty curveball made Salcedo a strikeout victim. Just like that. So Rafael Montiel remembered that lesson, and down goes Salcedo, another victim of the Lawndale Cardinal curveball. That'll bring up Cesar Lopez, who is 1 for 2, had a base hit and was stranded at third base in the 4th inning and struck out in the 2nd. Caesar's base hit was a clean single to right. Looks at strike 1. Holds that bat up high and swings it around and rocks in the batter's box like Tony Perez used to. Like the old Big Red Machine. Fouls that one back. And it's 0-2. Caesar playing third base. Wants to get something going here. But swings and misses on that one, and a nasty curveball. And down go the White Tigers. 3 strikeouts in a row for Rafael Montiel after giving up a leadoff hit. And we go to the bottom of the 6th with Lawndale in control. Top of the order for the Cardinals coming up against a new pitcher, and that's Mario Villa. Mario coming into the bottom of the 6th inning. So Miguel going 3 innings, gives up 1 run on 2 hits, strikes out 6, walks 1, and 1 wild pitch. Gary Guillen in his second at bat looks at strike 1. Let's see if Mario is different than his older brother. Just a freshman out there. Bunt try, and that's popped up and put away by Mario. So 1 down. That'll bring up Brian Estrada. So 6 runs on 8 hits for the Cardinals. No runs on 3 hits. And there you see the nice play of Villa coming down off the mound to get that one. Big looping curveball and a big looping swing and a miss by Brian Estrada, who struck out back in the 3rd inning. So since the 3rd inning, Miguel Villa has restored some order to this ball game. And a strike to Estrada. It's 0-2. After the Cardinals scored 5 runs on 6 hits in the first 2 innings. And strike 3 called, and down goes Estrada on 3 pitches. So 1 strikeout for Mario. 12 overall for White Tiger pitching. And even with that, they're down 6-0. Alberto Aguilar coming up. Took something off of that one. And it's outside. Albert, now playing first base, has 2 hits and 2 RBIs. And that one's sent back. 1-1. 15 RBIs on the season. And now 4 doubles. That one goes off of the noggin of Salcedo. I don't know if he even felt that. Those helmets are pretty secure. Alberto Aguilar, one of the good kids on this Cardinal team. Waited on that one and hits it high in the air to right field, and coming on for it is the right fielder, but he can't come up with it. Julian Stern, and on at first base is Aguilar. That'll bring up Carlos Banuelos. And Stern just lost this one. He had a long way to come for it, but just couldn't hang on to it. So let's see how Villa does, the youngster, just the freshman, does with Alberto Aguilar. Now look out. He almost gets Charlie Brown as the throw over to first base. And timeout is called. Over at second base is Aguilar. They're going to check out their pitcher, as here comes George Wassel out of the dugout to check on his pitcher. Says, yeah, coach, I'm okay. He's just a freshman. Watch that. Goes right off of the glove, so a good thing that he's got a quick glove. Might have taken a bite out of his arm, but Carlos Banuelos really ripped that one. And he has himself an infield hit. So runners at first and second for Brandon Camatani. Looks at a ball outside. Brandon with a 2-run single. And also another base hit. And now hits this one to second base, gets through into right field, and coming from second all the way in to score at home is Aguilar. That makes it 7-0. Taking advantage is Carlos Banuelos over at third base now. The RBI single by Kamatani as he just smoked that one on the ground, and the second baseman for the White Tigers just couldn't handle that. Nice pitch to Montiel, in for a strike from Mario. Kamatani, that is his 21st RBI. So Rafael Montiel coming on for his second at bat. Struck out swinging. Has 4 strikeouts himself on the mound. Actually 3, excuse me. 3 strikeouts for Rafael. He's only been in 1 inning. Struck out the side in order after giving up an infield hit to Mario Villa. We see the runner at second base. And Kamatani and Montiel now with a 3-2 count with 2 down. So Mario Villa wants to stop it right here. Swing and a miss, and down goes Montiel and the Cardinals, but not before they get another run on the RBI single by Brandon Kamatani. 3 hits in the inning, 2 strikeouts, and it's last call for the White Tigers when we come back on Channel 22. Jonathan Yara coming to bat. He'll start things off in the top of the 7th for the White Tigers. Gary Garcia, Julian Stein in that order to face the Cardinals, down 7-0. Rafael Montiel coming in to mop things up for Jesse Garcia in the 6th inning. Pitches a strike. Jesse, no runs on 2 hits. Struck out 9, walked 2, 3 wild pitches. Swing and a miss by Yara, who does not have an official at bat. He walked twice. Strike 3 called. And Rafael Montiel makes quick work of Jonathan Yara. That's his 4th strikeout on the day. 4 strikeouts in a row for Montiel, and that'll bring up Gary Garcia. Well, the Cardinals were impressive early. Scored 5 runs on 6 hits in the first 2 innings, and then a run in the 4th and in the 6th. And Jesse Garcia's made things hold up. And now the nice throw and out. A beautiful play by the shortstop, and that's Escobedo. So George Escobedo doing a good job, and Rafael says, hey, saved it. A hit, man. Let's watch that. It goes off of Montiel. Barehanded play, and a nice pick out of the dirt by Kamatani. So we're going to call that 1-6-3 on the putout. And now the last hope for the White Tigers is Julian Stern. Looks at a ball up and away. Is 0 for 2. Struck out looking and bounced out to the pitcher. Swings and misses here. Now it's 1-1. So quite a performance by the Cardinals today. They're taking some time off from Pioneer League action as this one's bounced to the backstop. 2-1 to Stern. They'll play at Miller, will the Cardinals, and then on the 14th, and then strike 2 called on Stern. And then on the 18th, they'll be at South to get underway again with the Pioneer League, trying to pile up some non-conference wins. Curveball, and it's looked at, and down goes Julian Stern. Down go the White Tigers. The Cardinals win this one 7-0 on a strikeout by Rafael Montiel. So 5 strikeouts on the afternoon for Rafael Montiel. He now has 34 on the season, and he gives up no runs on 1 hit in relief of Jesse Garcia, who improves his record, evens his books at 2-2 with the win. So the Cardinals win 7-0 over the Environmental Charter High School White Tigers. 7 runs on 11 hits and no errors for the Cardinals. No runs on just 3 hits for the White Tigers, and they committed 2 errors. And the Cardinals leave 8 men on base, 5 men on base left on by the White Tigers. Well, our Channel 22 player of the game for the Lawndale Cardinals, Jesse Garcia, is our player of the game as he struck out 9, gave up no runs on 2 hits, and also walked and scored the only run that the Cardinals needed today. On the other side, Miguel Villa is the tip of the hat player, the Rufus Washington tip of the hat player of the game. Miguel restored order, gave up only 1 run on 2 hits and struck out 6 Cardinals, and he earns the Rufus Washington tip of the hat for the game. Cardinals 7-0 over ECHS, and this is Lou Stowers for the terrific Channel 22 Sports crew saying until next time, so long.